Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? What's going on out there in the internet world? I can say, wow, this is December 31st, 2025. Wow, this year has flown by. After January, I feel like this past January we had 113 days. That's okay. The rest of the year just flew by. Look, my name is Mark. Thank you for stopping by. And I hope if you celebrate any of the holidays from November all the way up to now, I hope you had a wonderful season. I don't celebrate them, but the season itself was good. I done what I wanted to do and enjoyed it. I'm in North Carolina, the area that I'm in. Both of the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the weather was absolutely beautiful. So I got out and I enjoyed the weather. A couple of little road trips, short road trips, just sightseeing. It was nice. I enjoyed it. I had a couple nice conversations with some nephews. That's always nice. Now, with that said, this is a good time to push the reset button if you're not happy, if you're not living with peace. I get it. I get it. Now, there's going to be, at our best, there's going to be some stress. Um, but getting the tools to manage that, learning to breathe, just breathe in, breathe out, allow yourself to process. Think about where you was at the beginning of the year and where you're at now. And pat yourself on the back if no one else is there to do it. The growth in you, the things that you achieved, work on the things that you wanted to achieve that you did not. Commit to yourself. Um, I am a member of a couple fitness centers. Um, Now, come tomorrow, uh, there's going to be one in particular. It's going to be crowded, especially when it comes to the cardio. And one of them has a lot of cardio. And at the beginning of this year, I went and I mean, I got there like at 9:30 a.m. And I mean, all of the cardio equipment was taken. I'm asking you if now what happens is, it'll be like that off and on through the month of January. February, it starts falling off. People make these New Year's resolutions, and I get it. They intend on keeping it. I'm asking you to commit to yourself with goals, with you know that you are going to commit to and carry it out through the year. Do short term uh, commitments to yourself. What if you set aside? I decided to set aside this year uh, because a question came across. What if you take a year just to work on you? So that's what I done. And the upcoming year, I set a theme for myself. The upcoming year is going to be four words: stop, look, listen, and learn. And where that comes from is because you go back and watch the first video, the seven promises I made myself. That's an area that I still need to work on. So I'm going to focus on that area because that's where I need work. Again, I'm going to ask you to set the reset button. And right now, I'm going to share a story with you. This is a true story. Um, when I lived in Florida, I worked for a company and I reported directly to the owner. His name is John. And John being a micromanager. And within 2 weeks, me being there, John went on vacation, and the co-owner, just chaotic. His name is Jim. Yeah, I'm using names because it's a true story. So, yeah, it might have been the third week. But anyway, the guy that trained me to take his place because he had gotten a promotion in the company, and it was a job that I was interested in. I had left a large textile company, Unify, and I had been there 18 years. So when I left Unify, I made myself a promise that I would not work under that type of stress again. Um, and so when I left Unify, I'd made myself that commitment. And I landed a job with another textile company as product development manager and done the exact same things just on a smaller scale. And I only stayed there maybe 2.5, 3 months. And I was just burnt out in that field. So I started a youth organization and done that. Lost my ass on it, I want you to know, but it's okay. It's something that I wanted to try. So I knew I didn't want to go back into textiles, so I decided I would move to Florida and maybe even work with the homeless. And so while I was reorganizing my nonprofit organization, I took on a couple of jobs, but sending out resumes. Um, John contacted me, or he had his secretary to contact me, and got the job in delivery, warehouse, helping install equipment. I really enjoyed it. But that third week, and based on the pay and what was expected of me, I asked the gentleman that trained me, I said, who do I need to give my notice to? And he told me, he said, well, I guess since John's not here, you need to give it to John's secretary. So I went to speak to her and gave her my notice. And I wanted to be respectful, turned in a 2 week notice because I also had another part time job. So by the time that was over, of course, the secretary, even though John was on vacation, they was communicating. So John already knew when he came back into office. So um, he called me in his office and he's like, Mark, what's going on? And I told him, I said, look, a couple of things is going on. I said, the first thing is what you expecting out of me from this job. You're not paying me enough. And he asked me the question, how much is it going to cost to keep you? And I threw out a dollar amount. And lo and behold, he went beyond what I said. Now, as I move on with this story, I want you to understand John never raised his voice to me. John was never rude to me. Uh, but one thing, John could not stand to see my butt touch a chair. He wanted me busy all the time. Now, I would get there in the mornings, and I consider myself always been a hard worker. And when I first started, when John came back from vacation, uh, we all had keys to the building and the code for the security system. So I would get there early. We was on salary. It was no overtime, or if you was out, you was going to lose pay. Everyone was on salary. So, the front secretary said that John asked her one morning, like, where is Mark? And so she informed him that I'd already got my stuff and I was gone. I was the first one there. That was every morning. John didn't start coming in early until later on. So backing up, when it came to the money, John went beyond. So I decided I would stay. And but then different things started to arise, and I was the only one that was handling the organization of the warehouse. It was a mess when I went there. I mean, even the floors. I swept the floors, the supplies. I organized them, labeled them on the shelf, so people would just go and grab it and go. So, and then other employees, co-workers, told me that the warehouse had never looked that good. So my thinking is, once I get done, I'm just going to chill for a little while. All the jobs that I had been like that. Oh no. Like I said, the rest of them, they would hang around and talk and smoke and chit chat before they got started. So again, I would be out on the road, and I was already loaded for the day. I mean, loaded for the day. And I try to keep this positive attitude. I'm still talking about hitting the reset button. And they would call me on the phone, this customer, when are you going to get there? I've got till 5 o'clock. So I was like 2 years in. And I had learned some other organizations in Orlando. I had worked with the director of the homeless shelter. I had worked with Rescue Orlando, even networked a little bit with Habitat for Humanity to find out what their programs were in place and to find out what was working. So there was no need in me reinventing the wheel. Find out what's working, stick with it. So after I got set up, I went to John, and because I was still working a part-time job at FedEx Smart Post, that was set hours. When I tell you they were set, they were set. So I would leave the company that John owned and just swing by the house, chill for a little bit, be at FedEx Smart Post. I think it was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, because then I'd get off at 10. It was only 4 hours. And the breaks were scheduled. At break time, everything shut off automatically. The conveyor belts, the scales, everything shut off. You was going to take your break whether you wanted to or not. So I went to John and told him that I was going to be leaving this time. And he asked me what I was going to do. And I said, well, I'm going to open my office and I'm going to go back to FedEx Smart Post in the mornings and be at my office until 1. And he said, well, that's where, he said, well, why don't you just come stay here part-time and come in at 7 and work until 12:30 or 1. And if you do happen to be out, just take the company vehicle, go to your office, Oh, what a wonderful plan. So he hired someone to take my place. Now, I'm part-time, but John, being the micromanager, still wanted me to perform full-time. And the guy he hired, by this time, the businesses, because this is, they're in the oh 07, 08 recession, so business got really slow. So the guy he hired to take my place was going to the gym, working out, and going home, taking a nap, and parking under the bridge, and all of that good stuff. So when I tried to have that conversation with John, John was still putting the pressure on me to keep everything organized. Now, where I'm going with this, it takes a lot for me to get angry / mad. But once I'm there, I'm at a point of no return. This is where the reset button happened, because I had put up with that for 2, maybe 2.5 years. When I would come in, like I said, now John wasn't hateful to me. John wasn't rude. I want to make that clear, because at one point in time, there was a lie put out about another co-worker that the co-worker had said something to me pertaining to the N word. That co-worker did not do that. Now, what me and the executive secretary had was John's trust, because we were honest with him. I don't care what I was doing. I could be out on the road. John called me up. Hey, Mark, where you at? Hey, I'm at Walmart. What you doing at Walmart? John, I either have to get my nicotine, and the reason I'm not saying what it is, I'm not trying to promote any product out there that's unhealthy. But I was like, either I'm going to need this nicotine or I'm going to need medication. So then he would go on into why he called. And there again, he would call several times. And, what I learned, though, is not to take lunch within the facility. Even on lunch, that's what I realized. Wait, but John can't take it. Again, it was the people even his sales rep. He wanted him on the phone all the time, wanted him on the. So it wasn't just me. Now, I've always been somewhat a calm spirit until I'm pushed. And I came in off the road and a bunch of stuff had came in to the warehouse. Needed to be unpacked, unboxed. I'm part-time. Now it's time for me to leave. I'm walking down the hall. I walk by John's office. And at that time, he was on the phone, so I didn't speak to him anything. But I got in front of the sales rep's office, in between the sales rep office and the executive secretary's office. John comes out the hall. Mark, I want my warehouse back. Okay. I turn around and I said, I don't know what your fucking problem is, but you're getting up off of my back. And that was on a Thursday. I thought for sure, to goodness gracious, come Friday morning he was going to fire me. No. John knew that's what I wanted him to do. John backed off, but it should not have taken that to get him to back off. I should not have. Now, once I dropped the F-bomb out of anger, we don't know who's going to win until it's over. But I'm at a point of no return. Now, I'm going to continue this because I was the first one there. Then John would come in. I would leave. And co-workers would start calling me, wanting to know what mood John is in. Two co-workers in particular. And one morning they called, or one of them called me first and said, oh, what mood is John in? They were setting their day and their mood by the mood that John was in. And finally I asked the first one that called, why is John's happiness more important than yours? That's what I'm sitting here asking you. Push the reset button. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be at peace. You deserve to have the serenity. We all do. I'm asking you as you move into the new year, work on you. Don't worry about what's going on around. I know it's hard to stay focused in an unfocused world. Now, the end of that story, I stayed there working part-time until I got ready to move back to North Carolina. But it took that, and that was the reset. See, I tried to have a rational, calm conversation with John to explain to him, look, I'm part-time. You hired someone full-time to take my place. I'm telling you what's going on out there. You see me do the job. And better yet, that cat is so much younger than me. So that's where the pressure needs to be. But when I got ready to leave, I asked his secretary. And I called her by name, and I was like, why did John put up with my bullshit? Because I ended up staying for 5 years. And her response was, Mark, he knew you was going to get the job done, and he trusted you. John had went through some stuff with other employees where one of them had a computer hacker to come in and hack into John's computer. John, we had liberty, and after that happened, John started locking his office up. John was very hurt because John, he sold the company now. John was really good to his employees. He really wanted to create that family environment. If we had problems with our personal vehicle, the technicians, they drove the company vehicles home. They had gas cards, the E-Pass. If you don't know what that is, it's for the toll roads, to pay the tolls. They drove them on the weekends, and John paid for the gas for that. Vacation could have been better. I can't complain because look, even me working part-time, I kept medical benefits. I kept vacation. See, I turned the tables. I started setting my standards because I made myself a promise when I left Unify. I wasn't going to work under that stress. It wasn't the work, because I don't mind hard work. It was starting to wear on me that I couldn't go into the facility and sit down and just relax. I always had to be busy, 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 busy. And there was another person out there just doing whatever they want to do. And I get it, John, like any company, supervisor, manager, uh, they'd rather not deal with the problem if someone else is doing everything. Now, I have talked really longer than I meant to this time, which that is not unusual. I don't have a problem talking. Now, with that said, push the reset button, start afresh, stop beating yourself up. We all are under some stress, but get some tools. Get some tools to manage it. Um, Again, stay focused in this unfocused world. Um, Stand up for something. Live your life. And if you don't live your life, someone else is going to live it for you. Now, with that said, I am wishing you peace, love, joy, and happiness. And I'm wishing you a huge, happy new year. And make it the best year of your life. I will see you next year.